Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's session. Webinar topic for today is Getting Started in Cybersecurity in 2021 Pathways to a Successful Career. I am Dhanashree Jamble, and I will be your host for the day. Our speaker for the session today is Tino Sokic. Please note the session will be in listen only mode and will last for 40 minutes, out of which 10 minutes will be dedicated to Q&A. So requesting all the participants to post your questions in the Q&A window. Should you need any assistance during the session, please use the chat box. Also, we have two major criteria for the certification. One, participants need to attend the complete webinar. Two, fill in the survey and the right answer to the three questions based on the webinar, which will be sent to you post a day of the webinar. So please make sure that you attend the full webinar and fill in the survey. Talking about our speaker, Tino Sokic is a cybersecurity and a privacy professional who has been in IT waters for over 10 years now. Having attended law school and being certified in various fields of IT, Tino now has developed a great affection for cybersecurity and privacy, as well as all the technologies that surround us and the possibilities they give us. Tino has worked for one of the largest Croatian highway management companies as a network and security engineer, where he offered insights into the technical aspects of IT processes. As an instructor on EC Council's CodeRed platform, he's familiar with end user needs and necessities in terms of security education. He is a frequent guest speaker at various seminars and cyber conferences where he provides directly applicable knowledge presented through practical example and hands-on experience. Without any further delay, I would hand over the session to you, Tino.
Hello. Hi. Thank you, Dhanashree. Thank you very much. I presume I'm audible and everything. I'm cool. So I'm going to start the session. Thank you, Dhanashree, for the nice introduction. It's funny to hear those things live for me, but it's really cool. So as Dhanashree said, my name is Tino Sokic. You can all call me Tino, that's my full name. So I prepared a little thing to introduce myself. Mera nam Tino hai, ich bin Tino, mio nome è Tino, mi nombre es Tino, je m'appelle Tino, and меня зовут Tino. Just, I don't know how I reached all the audiences here from all countries, but now I have to be honest. When I was looking at the presentation the whole morning today, I thought to myself, what can I say that someone will get the most out of? So in what way can I influence? In a good way, of course, to have influence on you, to put you in the right direction. Well, I thought of the best way to do that is maybe talk about my own experience and speak about tips and tricks, if some of the tips and tricks that if I knew would help me a lot when I went with my career. So the first slide, getting started in cybersecurity in 2021 now, yes, pathways to a successful career. I'm going to mention a few key takeaways. The first thing is to understand cybersecurity and information security. Those two terms are very related, but they're different things. And mostly people use them as synonyms because they overlap a lot, but they are different. And I'm just going to mention key differences there. And then for you to learn about some learning resources like CodeRed. I will speak from my experience because we definitely live in an age where knowledge is probably very accessible to everyone, and it's the internet's fault for that, and that's a good thing. Okay, the third thing, knowledge, visibility, networking is king. I just put it like that. So basically, you have to know your stuff. You have to have knowledge, acquire it, learn it through hands-on, through theory, of course, and everything. But also, you have to have visibility, and that is very important because I always tell everyone when someone asks me because why is visibility that important is because you can have here in Croatia, in Europe, we say you can have the hands of gold, your golden hands, but if no one knows about you, you won't do any good to anyone. So, and networking, and last networking, not networking in the IT context, rather in getting together context. And lastly, this all what we're going to talk about, how to get started with your cyber career. I presume there are a lot of you that are probably in IT, maybe have some IT background, maybe someone doesn't have an IT background but wishes to pursue cybersecurity. Maybe they're very interested in cybersecurity because it's not that, not just because it's fun, rather it's very interesting. So, and fun, okay. It's a little bit of fun, so it has to be fun. Just a short, although Danashri said a few things about me. Who am I? Who am I? That's an old geek thing from the Unix and Linux, even Windows operating systems. So I'm an owner of a company here in Croatia, and I do cybersecurity. I'm a cybersecurity professional with a systems engineering background. So, and I would say to everyone, I'm not a programmer, because usually people, maybe from your experience, oh, computers, how to program, or not program, you can develop an application or whatever. So that's because people often make statements like that. So I went to law school, didn't finish it, but did ID certification along the way for over 10 years now. Probably I'm always doing certifications, and of course, EC Council is very much involved here. I went to the training of certified ethical hacking back in the day when it was version 8. Now it's 11, I think. So I'm a trainer, lecturer, speaker, writer, consultant. I won't bother you with this because we're to talk about how you can do something, not how I am. So I'm an open source intelligence and privacy enthusiast. Google open source intelligence if you don't know what it is. It's very interesting. There are a few courses on CodeRed, which I did. Actually, those are first courses of mine, which I will mention here on CodeRed, and they are very, I would say, okay, it's not that truthful if I speak about my courses, but I would say they're very interesting for you. As you can see, I enjoy TV cameras. I'm a guitar player. Yes, I am, and a singer. So I won't do that now, I promise. And I'm an ex-biker. And why people usually ask me why X? Because I got in a bad accident. So don't ride bikes. As I promised, what is cybersecurity? Let me please allow me to get the windows right. Okay, cybersecurity refers to the body of technologies, processes, and practices designed to protect networks, devices, programs, and data from attacks, damage, or unauthorized access. Okay, that's a definition. That's definitely a definition. So you can take cybersecurity as a subset of information security, and you can speak it like the cybersecurity is specific type of information security that refers to the ways that organizations, companies protect digital information. That's the key here, digital information, such as networks, programs, devices, servers, data, databases, and other digital assets. So here in cybersecurity, as a subset of information security, we can talk about it protecting the digital assets, and that's key here. And now, what is information security? Information security is a set of practices intended to keep data secure from unauthorized access or alteration. It's pretty much straightforward here. I presume because the more complex the term is, the explanation has to be more simpler. That's my kind of thinking of it. It's a general, so information security is a general term for the way organizations and individuals protect their valuable assets. As you can see, I mentioned here the CIA, not the agency, rather, and you will see this through any cyber or even cybersecurity, information security, any kind of security, almost any kind of security in this context that we are speaking of. CIA is very important. That stands for confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So, and that is very important because if you have all those three, you are we can say you're secure. If any of those three pillars, we can call them pillars, go off the rail, the security isn't good. Okay, I hope I gave you an understanding now. The difference between information security and cybersecurity, they're very related, and for you, you can. I encourage you to go through that because it's very important when you start learning, when you start talking to people about it, to explain that there are differences there. Okay, the thing I like the most, which I have to mention, is the internet as we know it now today was never designed with security in mind. You have to take when the internet, that's a very big truth, believe me, when the internet was developed, the main security precautions in mind were the physical ones. So not the protocols. So will someone physically harm the internet, the cables, the devices and everything? And many of those protocols that are today remain insecure to this day. So just for an example, let's take email like a technology. We can say it like a technology, like a medium. The from line on email, what does it do? Anyone can pretend to be anyone, and that's the truth with it. This also you can put it in some other context, in some better say, some other technology, like there's no security in the domain name service or DNS. Domain name system. That DNS is used, if you don't know, DNS is used to translate internet address from a human readable name, like nice name like CodeRed, like easycouncil.org, to a computer readable numeric address. That's the IP part. So you don't have to remember the IPs. You rather remember the nice name. So DNS, that allows us to surf the internet, to go wherever we please, to access websites, services, and everything, is not also designed with security in mind. Now there are initiatives actually for some time now. DNSSEC, I think it's called DNSSEC. You can look it up. But the thing is, a lot of a big part of the world, a lot of companies have to get together about that to reach a consensus about it, to use it. So that's a big problem. Okay, I won't go into the protocols like I don't know, with the web protocol, www, or the border gateway protocol. That is, for some of you, if you will encounter this protocol, the BGP, border gateway protocol, when you will learn about the internet and the underlying technology behind it. That's a protocol that routes internet traffic through various, you can simply say cables, connections between service providers, even countries. So I will not talk about that because many of these protocols were invented in the 70s and the 1970s and 1980s, when the internet was limited to, research institutions and not used for anything critical. So just for last here, there's a cool thing that an MIT professor, I think it's Professor Clark, said. He was one of the architects of the early internet. He said, I'm reading it now. It's not that we didn't think about security. We knew that there were untrustworthy people out there, and we thought we could exclude them. That's a simple thing. No one thought that it will grow like this through billions and billions of devices, people, and everything. Okay, so we got that the internet is not secure. Now, I'm going to share a few pictures with you. Actually, this first picture here, this is my first rack that I encountered when I started working as an IT technician. And you wouldn't believe how many important services, independent services and everything are depending on this rack. That was like 11, 12 years ago. There are other pictures of this. What I'm encountering throughout my career as an engineer, still at this day also, because I like the engineering part and the technician part. I like to speak about protocols because I derived, is that cool word? Okay, word, derived from that. That's my background, system engineering. And just to comment, the last picture on the left, with that little device on the floor, that's a company like almost with 1,000 people, and every communication is depending on that little device on the floor. So does the internet need to change? Yes. And who's going to change it? I hope we are together. I know that security is just an afterthought and that it's hard for security to talk about security because it's really abstract. And usually when something it's not only, but usually when something happens, then get the security in order. I'm talking about a company. Just this is about who will change it. This slide, this is the first time I'm sharing this. This is me about 14 years ago. Is it 14? Yes, 14 years ago. I was like 110 pounds, almost 50 kilograms heavier. So this is I'm mentioning this only because of the context of change. Believe me, you can get your story right, and you can start to go in the right direction. And that's one of the things we're no, that's the main thing we're going to discuss here now. Okay, now for, as I promised, just for a few pictures of the courses I did for CodeRed. I find CodeRed as a great resource for. I use CodeRed actually, because I worked there as a instructor, as Anashri said, and then but there's a lot of things that I don't know. Even I have to tell you, even when you do, when you are sure you know something, it is always great to go and look how other people maybe are doing it and look the basics, because okay, maybe like this webinar, maybe I don't know, 95% of things that I'm talking about, but you don't know about, maybe you will first hear about those 5%, and that's the cool thing. That's at least how I approach things. So the first course was open source intelligence as a basic one. Basically, open source intelligence relates to all the information that is available freely to us from the open source resources. Actually, just Googling through the internet is an OSINT, open source intelligence, OSINT technique. So you're using OSINT, you don't know about it, but you're using it all the time. So, but the agency, military, and everyone which are responsible for OSINT are using it. So the second course I did is advanced open source intelligence and privacy. Also, Dhanashree mentioned privacy in my description. Yes, I'm a privacy enthusiast. Not in a way that I'm gonna do a bunker underneath Earth, but to have a good, how do you say it, digital hygiene, let's say it like that, to take care of your services, passwords, logins, whatever, web browser history, everything that you use that can expose you. Okay, and I'm just gonna mention this course that I'm currently developing, and I think it's a cool title: Information Security for Dummies. This is the course roadmap. If you can see what it is, I'll probably change some of it, but basically that's the thing. I'm really looking forward to talk about information security from the basics, because it involves and IT systems, devices, people, and that's my focus here. That's a very important part. Just an anecdote. It's not an anecdote, actually. It's more like a story. When people say, "Oh, I'm very sorry, a system made a mistake," and I usually say, "No, systems don't make mistakes because people programmed those systems to make mistakes." So just for you to be aware of that. So looking forward to information security for dummies. That course, I hope I will get it. We will get it out soon, and I hope you will look into it. Okay, this is an awful thing. Entry-level positions don't really exist in cybersecurity. Don't get me wrong here. This is not because they do not exist. This is because, at least from my experience, what I see on job listings and everything is they're usually they're looking for intermediate persons, intermediate knowledge or advanced positions. I would say the entry level positions are only for the pay grade thing, a pay grade thing. But the key thing here is for you not to be discouraged if there's no entry level positions, because you can easily, with work, of course, you can get to a point where you are intermediate and advanced. If you focus on one, I don't know, area, or you focus on specific technology. But if you are, there are prerequisites that you need when you start to learn about, if you wish to shift your career to cybersecurity or something like that. So, and I will talk about it in a second. So, for you, Phil, not to get me wrong, I'm just saying this because I really have, maybe you know for your own experience, feel free to question, to ask me that or a comment or whatever. What I see on job listings, usually there are, um, someone is asking for, a law degree with a pen tester, a background of 10 years on, mostly I wouldn't even consider looking into it. So just for you to be not discouraged if anyone talks about it in this way, but to give you a more boost to be better at it. Okay, let's talk about the education. I will mention formal and informal. I put really because really, formal, I don't have formal education in cybersecurity or information security for that matter. Um, uh, I learned through a lot of trainings and hands-on. I had the luck to work in a company, which I worked on big projects and everything, but that lasted for years. It's not like I was in a company and in 3 months I was a cybersecurity engineer or a system engineer or whatever. It took me time, and it still takes me time. So from my perspective, formal education is it couldn't it's a real good thing, the graduate, the postgraduate cybersecurity thing. That's if you have the ability and chance to go for it, please do, please do. I would always I always encourage that. But the informal, although certification is not that informal, but I'm putting it here. I call it informal just because I think the formal education is like a university education, and informal is like a certification education. So I went to a lot of certifications. I still do. I do still do certifications, but even more, what I did, I went through various trainings. I didn't. The typical example is my certified ethical hacker training, which I did in the previous company I worked for. I went to the training, and it was great. That's a great the curriculum and the content, everything. It was I really learned a lot, which stayed with me. Which stayed with me. Not that I learned it, told it, and I forgot about it. So, but I didn't do the certification. It is in my plan, but we can all have excuses for it. But if you're doing a path that you're going towards that kind of certification, that's I think that's a really great idea for you. Basics must have, like a prerequisite, before going into cybersecurity. I think you need to have basic, like in any profession, you need to have the basics, the basic info, the basic knowledge about it. So, but I have put it in the 3 parts, like system administration, which means like a technician part. If you know how to, things like doing how to call it, the grunt work, putting things into racks, cabling, system administration. If you're doing Active Directory, Microsoft servers, Linux servers. So administration of, in a way, that's this kind of system administration. The basic technician things are a must. I think they are must do, because you can only in that way you can grasp the concepts. They will not be abstract, So the next thing is networks and networking. In this context, I'm talking about the networks, the IP, the real networks. Because I'm a network guy, I went to Cisco certifications, a lot of certifications. You also have on CodeRed for the CCNA course. I think I recall. I think that from my perspective, because I'm a network guy, mostly network guy, and that's how I transitioned from the technician networking administration to engineering part is through Cisco. Went for the Cisco Certified Network Professional in security, and that's a cool thing. So I think that networking, everyone, I think, should know the basics of networking, how the internet works, the structure, because it's very abstract, as I said before. To know, for you to how to, how are the continents? Okay, that's little big picture, but how are the continents even linked together with the deep underwater cables and everything? It's a really cool thing to know, so that it's not that abstract. If you know about the optic fiber and the devices that are used there with protocols over that, like I mentioned, BGP. So I think those things are very important because of the abstraction, the possible abstractions of it when something goes wrong. And lastly, programming. I'm not a programmer, but I learned programming, a few languages. The last I did language, and I sometimes go over a course, basic course, is Python, because I use it daily, almost daily, for open source intelligence. Not because I went to Python a few years back, not because I told myself, okay, I'm going to be a Python programmer or whatever. No, I knew I wouldn't be. Maybe if I got really interested, but I wanted to know about it. I wanted to know because all the tools I was using were written in that programming language, and I wanted to know when I saw the code, what it meant, what it said. So that's why all these three things, I think, they're good prerequisites, basic stuff that you can learn easily. You don't have to go to the end of the world to find someone that knows everything, and if he gives a few minutes of his time to you. No, you can go, just like I said, like this webinar. You get an email, get an invite, you go to Google or whatever search engine you use. I don't use Google, but you can go anywhere and look for knowledge. That's a good comparison. I always tell a story on any workshop, is that if you put in Google, in the search bar, and you wrote headache, Google will give you millions of results with so many diseases and everything. So the main thing is to filter out things, and that's the key here. We have the ability to acquire knowledge, but the key is to filter it out. Regarding visibility, this is visibility, what we are doing right now. When I started to speak and everything, actually not to speak. Yes, speak public speaking. I was doing lectures. Started to do lectures. My first lecture, I remember, I took it as a project. I started to learn how to speak um, in a correct manner, how to use my hands, even the gesticulation. Is that gesticulation? Sorry for the words. Um, how to use my hands, how to, don't go over the stage left and right in a quick run over the stage, run all over the stage. Um, I learned those things. So that's my story, and you will see this in this slide. I'm gonna touch on the conferences. So first, website and blog. Yes, to have a blog, that's a cool thing to have, because you can present yourself. You can really present yourself, your work. Maybe you're a programmer, maybe you worked on some cool project, and you can tell anyone about it. You can show pictures. You know that there are some people that are afraid of sharing knowledge, you know, but who do you like best? A great, you know, a great, I don't know, experienced engineer who doesn't share knowledge, and a great experienced engineer who shares knowledge. Well, I think the answer is obvious here. So to have a blog, a website is a great visibility channel, I would say. Headshot and bio. Okay, I'm in a professional photo. Um, I think that's important. I learned that it's important, and because pictures are the first things people see, actually. So, you know, that's why when I started public speaking, okay, I did a headshot and everything where I presented myself to do education, and I learned how to dress nice and everything. So now I'm dressed like this. I'm usually dressed like this because I like to wear a tie. That's my thing. But you can wear. Uh, um, my advice is you can, of course, you can wear anything you want, uh, but I would say uh, it should be neat and tidy and everything. Third, LinkedIn, Twitter. I use it. I use LinkedIn actually a lot. I do business over LinkedIn a lot because people approach me. I approach people. I think it's a great channel to have a good LinkedIn profile. Um, it doesn't matter if you're a student, if you're, the world's best hacker, or just an entry technician, whatever you are, you can have a good profile. That's 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 the thing. You can have a good profile. Okay, Twitter. I mentioned here Twitter. I use Twitter like a good resource. It's a good resource for okay, posting and everything, but it's a good resource of information for me. And a good thing is that LinkedIn and Twitter can be linked together, so anything you post on LinkedIn can be also on Twitter. That's a cool feature. And the last thing for visibility is conferences. Yes, that's networking. Go to networking. I have to tell you, I go almost to everything. Okay, not almost everything, but especially in the beginnings, when I worked for someone, I was looking for a vendor. It doesn't matter. It was a vendor event or sales event, whatever. And you always see on these events, okay, Croatia is not that big, and the capital is not a big Zagreb, but you always see the same faces, almost always. So that's a cool thing, and you kind of know about each other. And I think a good example is on LinkedIn. Always same faces you see on LinkedIn, correct? Okay, that's about visibility, which is very important. Now, resources. I'm kind of, I'm looking at the time. I could speak about this all day. I said with little letters, like if you see, Google is your friend. Yes, Google is your friend, definitely in this context. You can find books, papers, studies, online courses like CodeRed. Okay, I like it's okay. Maybe I'm biased in this way because I like CodeRed, the platform, and but with online courses, you can really you can learn a lot. You can really learn a lot. Okay, especially now with the COVID thing and everything is almost online. So um, video on demand is a great thing. The second thing I mentioned here is podcasts. There are a lot of good, of course, and bad podcasts, like online courses, like books, like everything. But with podcasts, if you try to listen the most, and you can look up the most influential people there and hear their side of the story. And that's a good introduction to anything, any technology. So then blogs, forums, social media. Okay, you know about it. My bookmarks are awful. They're quite big, so I have categories for blogs, for how tos, because I write everything I learn in a way. If I especially from the technician engineering part, if I came up with a solution, I'm going to write it down because I'm not using it all the time. And in 3 months, I'll forget how I did it. So it would be faster if I see the steps, how-to guide for myself. That's a cool advice, I would say. Um, networking, but different kind. I'm not speaking about the network devices and IPs and everything. Networking with people. Yeah, and that's what I said. You can do it online. This is networking. I would say this is networking in a way. Although for me it's not bi-directional. It would be in a few minutes a bi-directional, but with networking, you always, even if people are doing the same job, everyone's different, and everyone is doing something differently, in some other way, and you can learn about that, about some technology or how to get to somewhere in another way really easily. Okay, and lastly, regarding the resource, it's a home lab. Um, as I talked about the basics and everything about is it programming or networking or whatever, you can do a home lab. You can get the old devices. You can use virtualization on your. We could use virtualization in on your computer you can use. So home lab, just Google it. Google it with your friend. Don't be frightened of it. If you go for, I don't know, the basics of networking, you will surely have to use a home lab through virtualization or whatever. Okay, just I'm trying to put. Okay, sorry, nothing with the slide. And lastly, knowledge is the best asset. That's my. Okay, I like dogs, but don't mind that. Knowledge is the best asset. That's my kind of thing, my line that I would say. You can lose it. You can't lose it. You can only, knowledge is a thing that only by gathering it more, you are richer. So it doesn't deplete like some other resources, physical resources. So knowledge is the best asset, and you can, believe me, you can learn a lot from almost any resource. But as I said, you have to start somewhere. Believe me, if you wish to pursue cybersecurity, okay, let's see the basics of administration, of networking, of programming, and see how I can help with that, and then pursue that career. Okay, thank you. Well, it's almost 40 minutes. It's about 40 minutes. That's not. I know that that's not a lot of time. I just told you my side of the story from my experience, actually. So thank you for listening. I hope I wasn't that awful. that you learned something. And the thing is, actually, when I speak about this, is feel free to reach out. I will gladly help you if I can, point you in some right direction or whatever. Feel free to reach out. My name is still Tino, and ping me on LinkedIn or whatever, or via CodeRed. So thank you for joining this, and now it's time for the Q&A.
Thank you very much, Tino, for an insightful and informative session. And I hope this amazing presentation, I hope you all have liked. The audience have really got some insightful information
I,
from this. And moving forward, if you're interested to know a lot more about our programs, kindly take part in the poll that will pop up right now. Um,
okay.
okay. Also, let us know your preferred mode of training, and we will reach out to you on that basis. Now, Tino will answer some of the questions that were sent during the presentation. Tino, you can take it forward from here.
Yeah, thank you. You can see everything. I presume I'm audible. I presume a
Yes.
quick poll. Would you like to advance your cybersecurity skills with CodeRed? Select one of the following: yes or no. Should I repeat the question? Would you like to advance your cybersecurity skills with CodeRed? Select one of the following: yes or no. As I mentioned, it's a cool platform. So you have because learning videos and labs and everything on demand is a cool thing. Now it's time for the Q&A. Ask me, well, I would say anything you want, but what if you have some questions? How do you wish to pursue anything or whatever? Maybe you already know something. Maybe you can teach me something. Maybe you know something about, you wish to know, I don't know, more about programming or networking or system administration or some basic technical stuff. Okay. Just give me, I have some problems with the questions. I'm gonna do this right now. I'm looking. Okay.
Okay, let me read the questions for you, Tino.
Yeah, for some reason I don't see the questions, but that's not a problem. You can read it.
Uh, this question is from Shri. Hello, Tino. I was from the 90s Unix starter generation. I am not sure if I can get into cybersecurity at the mid part of my career. Can you help?
Shri, thank you for the question. Yeah, mid 90s, you said Unix. That's a really cool area. Of course, well, I think you have a very, very good predispositions to go into this career, especially in the cybersecurity engineering part, because I would say you have hands-on experience about it. So definitely you can also use. I think if you even saw things that I use in open source intelligence courses on CodeRed, you will be reminded with the terminal and everything. So feel free to look at the courses. Feel free to reach out to me. I will be gladly to give you particular advices. But I think you have a very good chance to pursue that career. Believe me.
Great. The next question is from Rupesh. Is any programming knowledge must to be a cybersecurity professional?
Sorry, I didn't catch that. Something was breaking up. From who?
From Rupesh. Is
Rupesh.
any
Okay.
programming knowledge must to be a cybersecurity professional?
Uh-huh. Well, um, I would say yes. Not in a way that you have to, like I told you in the presentation, not like you have to, you know, like you have to know, develop, I don't know, a website or an mobile application or a specific tool in Python for automation and or uh, data science or whatever. But I would say that going through, I don't know how, not that many hours of lectures and some hands-on, I can tell from my experience. When I started to learn Python, I went through, I think it was like, a course was like 16 hours with hands-on. It had labs, so I did them all on my computer, where I learned how to use, I don't know, all the all the options and things and functions and whatever, the syntax. So definitely, I believe that it is a prerequisite, and believe me, it will help you a lot if you do that. It's not that many hours you need. So I hope that kind of answers your question, but um, maybe maybe you hoped that I would say no, but it can only help you. Believe me, a lot, especially in cybersecurity.
The next question is from Pratyush. Uh, can you tell me the names of certifications to start a career in cybersecurity?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, it depends on which subset of cybersecurity. Again, but to start, um, I would suggest, not suggest, but I would, what's the word? I would imagine that you already have some prerequisites. And if you wish to pursue, I don't know, you would like to be an analyst or a pen tester of some kind in cybersecurity, then you can go for the certified ethical hacking, CEH, on EC Council. If you wish to pursue a more different career in, I don't know, broader context of cybersecurity, then CISSP, which is the Certified Information Security Certified Information. My acronyms. I'm not good with acronyms. So CISSP. That's a big cert, and it's very well paid. That's one of the certs I'm going for, actually, because I do the training. I'm the worst with that. I did the training. So if starting, go with the basics. Like, for example, networking, you do the Cisco CCNA. And my opinion is that CCNA, everyone should take CCNA because CCNA is a great start. It's a great basic certification, and that covers and security and voice over IP and routing and switching and everything. So I think CCNA is a great start if you're doing the basics. But if cybersecurity certification, definitely you can go for the pathways where are like certified ethical hacker or CISSP, or if you want to be an auditor, CISA, I think it is. So definitely EC Council is, I would say, a great start for cybersecurity, a great start.
The next question we have from Shivangi. Are certifications like CEH or Security Plus enough to get an entry-level cybersecurity job? What else can be learned, and how should we present our cybersecurity knowledge to the recruiters?
A lot of questions. A lot of questions. Yeah, I forgot about Security Plus. That's a cool thing. Yes, that's like a Security Plus. There's also, I think it's, I can't remember from whom that is. Security Plus. That's also Network Plus or whatever is it called like that. Security Plus and CIH are great. Actually, I would say when you have CIH, that's not all that entry. You're not on, with that knowledge, if you're certified ethical hacker, that's my opinion. You're not an entry kind of guy for entry position, but you have to start somewhere, right? So definitely, yes, that is enough. Of course, that's even for an entry position. I would say that's over the top, but you don't have to go for the certification first, then to look for a job. You can start immediately both at the same time. So I hope that answers your question and gives you advice how to pursue. I kind of I misplaced. Was there were two questions in that one question, or Dhanashree?
Yeah. So one question, the first question was, are certifications like CEH or Security Plus enough to get an entry-level job? And the second one was, what else can be learned, and how should we present our cybersecurity knowledge to the recruiters?
Visibility. Yes, that's the thing. Like I talked, blog. If you can go for speaking engagements, that would be great. If you don't want to do that, I understand that, because that's one of the biggest fears, public speaking, I know. But you can learn it. For the recruiters, I would really suggest you work on your visibility. That's the thing. Because, for example, LinkedIn. Have a good LinkedIn profile, and recruiters will, because they base a lot of their info they base on LinkedIn and your visibility. They Google you, they Google your name and see, he's on that conference. Okay, he's spoken here. Okay, so if you understand, but that's a thing you have to build. It's not like a thing you can do in 1 week. The same thing is like learning. You can be a certified hacker in 1 week. Okay, probably there are people that could do everything like that, but I don't know any of those people. Okay, so visibility would be my answer. And based on all the experiences, you can Google that for example, to do a good profile, LinkedIn profile, you can do that in few days of if you take it as a project. You can learn how to do that and be more representative, and learn about it, how to be better. Hope that answers your question.
The next question is from Keyur. Which are the best universities for cybersecurity?
Oh, I'm sorry. I should get back to you on that because as if you've seen from my presentation with the formal, where I talked about the formal education, I couldn't say that. Actually, I could say it here in Croatia, Europe, but that it's not relevant for you. But so I'm sorry, I can't give you that answer right now. But if you contact me, I can look it up and discuss it with you further. Thank you.
The next question is from Clive. I hope to get CEH 11 certified within the next 2 months, and I'm looking for an entry level opportunities to work online. I hope I am at the right place.
Yes, definitely. I'm kind of a little jealous for your CIH 11 because that's, I remember my number 8, and it was really cool. So, yes, you're at the right place, right path. You, I hope that you will, you can start building your, I'll say, your professional visibility and everything right now. So you won't make a mistake if you do that right now. So, just to be clear, you can do all those things at the same time, not, okay, I'll do, there are a lot of people there do, they do, I don't know how many certifications and then look for a job. Okay, probably that is working, but from my perspective, looking at my experience, I would say why not do it immediately. So yes, you're good to go.
Our next question is from Abdul Rahman. What should be a successful roadmap to get in cybersecurity?
Roadmap. When you told me the word roadmap, I immediately thought of a course that I'm developing. The successful roadmap, well, it's education, and experience and getting experience. There isn't one formula for that, that. So I can say, okay, go to that university, spend 3 years or 5 years, whatever, there. Then you will definitely get a job here, and then you will have this pay raise, or that you will be paid for doing cybersecurity that way. There's not a one fit formula, because we all come from different. Actually, we come from different backgrounds. We're coming from different countries, parts of the world. That's why I hope through this webinar I told you my experience, how I got my. I'm because that's a thing I did a few years back, maybe 2 years. I decided, like, okay, because I don't have problems with cameras. I don't have problems with speaking to publicly. Why not use that in a more bigger manner? Does that make sense? So that's why for the last year or so, I'm going always on TV, and I got used to it. So definitely a one fit formula doesn't exist, but as I repeated many times, you have the ability to choose, and you have the ability to ask someone. That's a great advantage. You can say, hey Tino, hi Tino, over, I don't know, via LinkedIn or whatever, or go to my recently I put up a new blog I started because my old blog was more technical. Now I'm doing a little bit non-tech blog, just a few, very recent. It's a very recent thing. It's tinosokits.com. So TINOSOKIC, yeah, .com. tinosokits.com, tinosokits.com. So you can Google it up. I think it's already indexed. So you can see from that example what I'm doing, how I'm doing things, and there's unfortunately there's not a one perfect formula, but you can ask. You can, hey Tino, hi, how to do this? I'm here with this. If I know, I will help you. If I don't know, I will try to put you to direct you to someone who knows.
The next question is from Shri. As a mid-level manager, can I get some quick way to get into cybersecurity technicalities?
Yes, definitely. From the technical side, you can get like a typical example. Again, I'm praising to my own work, but the thing is, this course, a new course that I'm developing for CodeRed, information security for dummies, that's a course for you then, where I will speak about the technical stuff in a basic way. So definitely you can do that if you wish to pursue, not pursue, well, actually I can say pursue, you can wish to pursue knowledge about the technical stuff, because that is good if you're a manager. You don't have to know how to program a router or program an app or whatever, but you have to know about it. And that's a great asset for you. So no one can, say something to you that maybe isn't true, because they are counting on that you don't understand. But with this kind of attitude, you will understand. So I will again recommend a course like this, like I'm developing. I think that's a super fit for you. Thanks.
The next question is from Ryan. I gained
Sorry?
from Ryan.
Ryan. Okay, thanks.
Right. Yeah. I gained my CEH version 10 in 2020, passed with top marks. Am I now capable of providing cybersecurity services to anyone, company owners or organization?
Of course. Well, of course. Well, if you did a 10, you're a knowledgeable guy, Ryan. So definitely. It all depends. Are you working for someone right now? Are you planning to work for someone or whatever? But you have a good starting point to do that in any way, actually, because certified ethical hacker is it's not an easy certification, because for that certification, you also have to have a good foundation. You have to have some good foundations for that, basic stuff that you can acquire through years. And I hope, definitely you can, and you can start working on it immediately. Feel to reach out if you need help.
The next question is from Mohammad Shafiq. Currently, I am working as network administrator. How can I get into cybersecurity?
You're kind of, I didn't catch the name, Omak, something like that. Danashri, I didn't catch the name.
Mohammad Shafiq.
Mohammad. Okay. Sorry for the name. I'll call you M. I was a network administrator at one point, and I loved that job because besides the fact that I learned a lot, I had access physical access to all the data centers and system rooms and everything. That was kind of cool. So you have great prerequisites if you're doing network administrating because from one side viewpoint, if you're a Cisco network administrator, CCNA or something like that, you're doing programming already because you're programming the routers and switches and everything. So it's kind of cool, or firewalls. So definitely you have good prerequisites to pursue that career. That is I think how I got in cybersecurity, just like you right now, network administrator, and that's cool.
The next question is, I have an experience in IAM for 3 years. How off late I am.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't understand it. IAM.
Yeah, this
What is
question
that?
is from Darsha.
Okay.
How off late I am of the domain and would like to come back. Where should I start again? What would be your suggestion on this?
Sorry, Dhanashree, something broke with the internet connection, of course. I didn't catch the last sentence. Can you repeat, please?
I have an experience in IAM for 3 years. However, of late I am of the domain and would like to come back. Where should I start again? What is your suggestion?
Oh, well, as I said, you can't go wrong. Okay, it's like riding a bike, I would say, for a lot of things. If you were in that industry a few years back, but because 3 years, it's a big time technologically, but looking from just for example, looking from the internet side, 3 years is not that much because the underlying technology is almost the same. The same for decades now. So definitely, I would in your position, I would go for the basics because even today, okay, maybe I know I have some experience. I wouldn't say I know a lot because I don't know, that's a lot to say. But go and pursue some basic stuff again. You don't have to put in you won't have to put in 50 hours or whatever, but you will have to put in 10, 15 hours. So definitely go through the basic courses. You can't go wrong with that, believe me.
The next question is from Ermis. If someone would have CEH and CCNA and would want to become a bug bounty hunter, what would you recommend next?
Ooh, well, I don't have an answer to that. A bug bounty hunter, that's a cool job. That's a real cool job. I know a few of them. I know a few of them, and usually they are that's a funny thing with bug bounty hunters. A few of them don't have that I know don't even have any certifications. That's a funny thing. But I would suggest you can get you have a great, so you said CCNA, CEH, that's a great combination. Believe me, that's a great combination. For bug bounties, you have dedicated courses for that. Why don't you contact me separately via LinkedIn or whatever, and I will try to look it up because in bug bounties, especially programming is very important. Probably the most important thing is programming because of the logic and everything. So please feel free to contact me. I don't have dedicated answer right now, but please contact me. I will get back to you on that.
Next question is from Kishwar. Can you tell
Kisha?
any particular forum to read blogs about cybersecurity?
Besides mine, just kidding. Yes, there are cool. Um, if you go to if you go to podcast, actually, okay, blog. You said blogs and forums. Okay, not much about forums like Reddit or what. Reddit is a good resource for that, but that's mostly for how-to things. But out of my head, like Bruce Schneier, he's an old, not an old. He's a very well-known, better to say it like that, very well-known cryptologist and security professional, a really good one that's been for decades educating people and speaking. Bruce Schneier. So the others like Mikko Upanen from Finland. He works, Mikko, Mikko, Mikko Upanen. Because of the pronunciation, it would be better if I gave you a list of contact me. I will give you a list of my blogs that I regularly, and even blogs and even news sites, websites regarding security, which I regularly on a daily basis I go through and see what's new and everything. So, but Mika Upan and Bruce Schneier, those are like well known. Okay, Kevin Mitnick, definitely. Kevin Mitnick, the most famous hacker stuff. And then, okay, that's three big, most famous names out of my head. But feel free to contact me via LinkedIn or via Danashri. I don't know what's the model of contacting if people want to contact me, but or via CodeRed, you can contact me. I will give you the list what I use. It's not a problem.
That's all the questions we have for today. Thank you again, Tino, for answering those questions and for the great presentation. It was a pleasure to have you with us. So this
Thank you.
concludes the webinar. Thank you all for attending. We hope that you've learned and enjoyed this presentation. Now you all can end the session. Thank you so much again, Tino. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Bye.